Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. I hope everybody is having a good day. It's nice and sunny here. Yesterday, if you saw my video, you saw I've been out in the rain taking care of animals, and that's just something that we all have to deal with if we've got animals. We have to go out in the weather sometimes and make sure that they're fed and watered and that they're secure. But the rains have moved on. It rained all day yesterday and into the night last night. But it's nice and sunny today, but also windy. So I wasn't able to go outside and do a video. I did go out and got all set up and sat down in a spot to have a little heart-to-heart with you guys. And then the winds just started kicking in. And I waited for a little bit to see if they would die down some, and they just didn't. So anyway, here we are in the house, and we're going to spend a little bit of time together. I'm glad you guys are here. Y'all have been so kind and so encouraging. I've gotten so many nice cards and letters and encouragement from you folks, and you've stuck with me through the darkest times in my life. And I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for that. I appreciate each and every one of you. Those of you that are here to spend a little time together and encourage one another. Today I thought we'd talk a little bit about what a difference a few days make. Now, it wasn't that long ago when I looked out, it seems like just a few days ago, and it's probably been more like a couple of weeks, that you looked out and it still just looked like winter, drab and wet and dreary, and the grass was all dead and everything was just blah. But it happens every year that it seems like you look out one day and then the grass is all green and the trees are budding out and the birds are here and they're singing. One of my favorite movies, it's a musical, and Howie and Blade always went opposite directions when I watched it, because Howie was not fond of musicals and neither is Blade. But I loved Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, and I like all those old classicals like that. And they have the song where they go through all the winter months with the snow and the misery, and then all at once the song says it's spring. And that's how I feel here. It's spring. But I know that we have to hold off on getting some of our stuff into the garden, because lurking right around the corner usually every year is a little bit of a frost or a pretty good freeze, and some of our stuff gets bit back. It did last year. Our little grapes had budded out, and I actually had little tiny green grape clusters that look like little green grape nuts, and we had a frost or a freeze, and I believe it was in the early part of May, and it bit it all back, and I just knew it was gone. But thankfully it came back out, and we had a pretty good flush of good grapes for the season. But nonetheless, I'm enjoying the temperatures and enjoying that things are beginning to look springtime here. I know every area of the country is not experiencing that yet, but here we are in Oklahoma. Blade said he thought he'd have to mow this weekend, and so starting the process now. Now, it won't be long, just a few months, and we'll be starting to be tempted to complain about the heat and the humidity. That always comes every year. For a while now, I've been talking about the fact that I was going to order ground cover for our garden. And we've seen other channels. If you watch Living Traditions Homestead and some of the other channels, you know that they have used with success ground cover. And we contemplated that and decided that this year that would be a good choice for us to do our entire garden. Now, in times past, we've done just the areas that we planted stuff on, and we left the row between the planted items where we could just till down through there and have an area to walk down. But our garden is so attacked every year by bindweed or wild morning glory that it just gets everywhere, and it grows up through the cucumbers and the tomatoes, the beans, and it seems like it grows by feet lengths every day. I don't know that it really does that, but it is very aggressive, and it gets all through that stuff. And if you're not out there constantly fighting that stuff, it takes over. We knew that this was going to be a very important garden year for us, and that it was important for us to be able to get as much product out of the garden as we could to put up in our pantries. Not just here, but down at Tex and Terry's. And sometimes I take extra produce to the church and share with our church family. And I want to continue to do that. So we had to address that. Well, all along I've shared with you guys that that was what I was going to do. And I have that and other products that I intended on ordering. And I put them in the cart at the whatever site I was on to purchase that item. Now, I've had orders at Stark Brothers, and I've had, not for the ground cover, but for fruit trees and bushes and things like that. And I've actually missed out on things because they had a certain amount. And I waited just a little bit too long before I actually hit that button to make a purchase. And I lost the item. They sold out. So I got to thinking about that and decided that this morning when I got up, I was going to go ahead and make that ground cover purchase and make sure that I could get it here. Now, we don't have the garden tilled up yet. It's been too wet to get the tractor out in there. So I've been holding off, I guess thinking, well, I could hold on to that money just as long as I possibly could before I had to make that big purchase. But I knew today I didn't want to wait any longer. So this morning I went in onto the site to make the purchase. I clicked on the cart and I wanted to look down through there to make sure that everything was still available. And it was. Everything was still in my cart, the amount that I needed, but there was a problem. Just a few days ago, I was going to pay $77 a roll for the ground cover, and I need 6 rolls of it. Today, the price was $88 and some change. So I'm spending an extra at least $66 on this ground cover after just a few days' time. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. What a difference a few days make in our seasons, in our prices. And I don't know about you guys, but I've got several things that I've done that way. I've got places that I plan on ordering some of my poultry, and I've got it in the cart ready to go. I've got places where I want to order extra seeds, and I've got seeds. I've got a lot of seeds. But I don't just think about this year's product, this year's seed. I want to make sure that I have enough for the next season. Beyond fall garden, I want to make sure that I have enough seed for spring, because everything is iffy. Not to alarm anybody, but if it does set a little fire under you to get you motivated to make some of those same decisions to get some things for after this growing season, move past it into the next one, then I hope that you'll take opportunity while the things are there. That brings me to my next point, that I've had some people say, hey, we're not seeing shortages anywhere. And we think that you people on YouTube, you prepping people, you people that are encouraging people to either grow gardens or to stock products in your pantry, we feel like you're kind of scaring people. And that's not our intentions at all. Not mine, not most of the other people on YouTube that are doing these kind of videos. We are trying to encourage you to be prepared and know that, yes, maybe in your area it is totally stocked, but I guarantee you couldn't say that your price hasn't changed. One of the items that I chose to watch was something that I use all the time. Spaghetti sauce. Now, I like to buy spaghetti sauce to keep in my pantry, but I also make homemade spaghetti sauce. And I just like to have both on hand. I use both of the products. I like them both. But I know that some years my tomatoes produce really well. And other years, like this last year, we had a drought. We had the bindweed. We had a lot of problems, and so I didn't get to put up much spaghetti sauce. So I had to rely more on the spaghetti sauce that I already had in my pantry. Now, at the store that I usually go to, the spaghetti sauce, and it's for a name brand. It's in the can, not a jar. And you can get different flavors, meat flavor, garlic and basil, all the different flavors. And they started out at 98 cents. Then they moved up 2 cents to $1. And that's been at least a year ago, more like 2 years ago. Then this time last year probably, they jumped to $1.25 in my area. And now they're $1.39. Now that doesn't sound like a whole lot. I know people are saying, well, that's just 10 cents. Well, it's really more than 10 cents if you consider it jumped from 98 to $1. That was 2 cents. And then it jumped 25 cents. And now it's jumped another, how much more? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 cents. And while that may not seem much of importance for just that one item, if you go through their store and you purchase a lot of items and in your weekly grocery budget, and every item has that price hike, then a whole bunch of little bitty price changes ends up being a whole lot and can really affect your overall budget. Another item that you can pay a really close attention to is salt. Now, the national brand of salt, I priced it today before I started this video, and I priced it at one of the big box stores at Walmart. And I know that you can check prices on all these different places and at your local grocery store and at Dollar General and Dollar Tree. And I know you can do all that. But I just, for the sake of this video, the price for iodized, the national brand of salt at Walmart was $1.29 for 26 ounces. The store brand, same iodized salt, same amount, 26 ounces, was 48 cents. So it really pays to watch your prices and to get things, if you know that you're going to need that for your pantry, and salt is something that you definitely need a lot of. You need iodized salt for your table, and you need, if you're a canner, you need salt, either canning salt or salt that's not iodized, or you need sea salt, something that's not iodized for your canning purposes. You need to pay attention to your prices and get that stuff stocked. It's okay to compare prices and to think and pray about your purchases. Hopefully you've made a list of all the items that you think that your family is going to need over the next year, from food to clothing to first aid to your deodorants and toothpaste and all of that stuff, to your garden supplies, sewing supplies, things that you might need for your car, your insect repellents. I've just had to go purchase a wasp spray. Cheyenne, bless her heart, is scared to death of wasp, and so wasp spray and ant spray and all the mouse traps and everything that you could possibly think of that you might over this next year make purchase of. Put that down on your list. Put it down on your list. And you know that these are items that you, if the money's there, if you come across a good sale, you know that you're going to make that purchase. Then it's okay to compare prices from stores. Well, this one has it for this and this one has it for that. But if you drag your feet too long, I guarantee you that you're going to pay way more than what you intended to pay, because a few days really makes a difference. Just like I'm paying $11 a roll more this week than I would have paid last week for the same product. I would encourage you all to really pay attention. Now, here on the farm, we've noticed some changes, not just with the people food, but with our animal food. There have been I haven't really ran into a lot of shortages on or unavailability of any of my regular feeds that I feed my animals, except for my dogs. Their particular brand that they are used to eating has not been in stock for the longest time, and so I've had to buy other brands for them. And I don't know what the reasoning is behind that. I have no idea. The other feeds that I buy my animals, I've been able to get all of that. However, the price has went up. I have a particular blend of food that I feed to my quail, and it is now $30 a bag. Fortunately, my little quail don't eat a whole lot. But I did have a subscriber ask today about, what about your animals? What about if the price of food just gets outrageous, animal food? How are you going to feed your animals? And that's a very good thought. Now, my animals, my birds, my chickens, and my one turkey, and the guineas, all of my birds that I have, except for the quail, they free range. And so they're out here, and they are out here, and they have a big yard that they're in, and they go into the edge of the woods and scratch. And they're eating bugs, and they're eating feed, and they're eating all kinds of, if they can catch a frog or a snake, they eat those things, mice. And so really 3 seasons out of the year for your poultry, they really feed themselves in a lot of ways. Now, I do throw out a little bit of food each morning for them all to share and scratch around in. And I do have to give them land pellets sometimes. But I'm also growing sunflowers, or will be growing sunflowers and millet, and there's other items that I can grow to supplement their diet. And then we have to take into consideration what we'll do for the wintertime. And then, I have to consider the cattle and the dogs and any other animal, rabbits, pigs, anything else that I might have here or that you might have at your place. We have to consider those things. All of us are aware that things change almost daily. The things that they talk about on the news, it seems like for 2 or 3 days straight, just pounding on the news. Then all of a sudden that's disappeared and they're on to the next item. Take into consideration that slap that happened at that award show. I don't watch it, so I saw it on the news. Take into consideration how long that was on the news and all of the things that's come out of that. Now something else will happen and that'll get pushed to the side and the next thing will come on. We're so quick to change our thought patterns, and we chase one rabbit after another, or squirrel, whichever one you happen to chase. I chase both of them sometimes, I think, with my thought patterns. But we cannot push aside preparation. We can't let that be something that we worry about today, or not necessarily worry about, be concerned about making sure that we have our pantries stocked and that we're able to get more. That's part of it, is being able to get to a place in our pantry that we're comfortable with what we have supplied. And I don't think that you ever get to a place to say, I've got it all. Because none of us, I don't think any of us can really provide every single thing that we need. We have to go out beyond the borders of our little home and procure things. So we're continuously prepping. All of us are. Even people that you would think have it all, they're still preparing. They're still bringing things in. We need to consider that prices are changing all the time. Our needs are changing all the times. There might be a change in someone's diet. Maybe they become a diabetic, or maybe they are recovering from a sickness and they might need some good nutritious bone broth, or maybe someone has an injury or whatever. In our household, we have a baby. Cheyenne and Blade have a little boy, baby Howie, and he's soon to be 5 months old. And so we have to consider that we have to make preparations for having a small child in the household. And if you have littles, then you know that you have to do that too. Maybe you're going to be taking care of older parents, or someone that has needs and other capacities. And so we're always thinking about adding to our stores. But you also need to consider, I do have these things in my pantry. What they cost today is not what they're going to cost you tomorrow. They're going to cost a lot more coming down the road. And I know people are saying, well, we feel like this is going to come to an end at the end of summer. I really don't think it is, guys. I think that we're going to have higher prices for quite a little while. And so get the things that you need, but also think about how you're going to replenish those things. You know, how are you going to, if you use up all your spaghetti sauce, so to speak, what are you going to do to get more spaghetti sauce? Are you going to go to the store and the next time it's $2 a can? Are you going to be able to stock however much of it is you need? Or are you going to try to grow some tomatoes so that you can make some homemade spaghetti sauce? Or go to the farmer's market? Or work with your neighbors. Make a neighborhood garden. It sounds silly and it sounds far-fetched, but if enough of you come together, I know I'm blessed here where I'm at. I live on a farm. I have a garden. I have all of those mineral tubs that are able to be planted in. I have raised beds. I have flower gardens that I can plant vegetables in. I have hanging pots that I can put vegetables in. So I know that I'm very blessed, and there's others that live in the country that are very blessed or have backyards that they can turn into gardens that don't belong to an HOA or other things that have restrictions on them. But try your best. If you're in a place that you can't do it all on your own, try to find other people that can come together and have a neighborhood garden or a community garden and work together to grow the things, to take care of the things, to harvest them, and to put them up. We're all in this together. We all have to work. We all have to continuously prepare and know that from day to day things can change, and what a difference a few days makes. Don't expect in the next few days for prices to drop back dramatically to what they were. I really don't think that's going to happen. So if you've got the ability right now, if you've got if you're feeling that unction and that urging, I would go ahead and begin to purchase those things. Don't forget your garden tools and the things that you're going to need to tear up some ground and get busy. Get on YouTube and put yourself into YouTube University and learn how to garden if you don't know how to do that. And there are lots of people around you that have that knowledge that would probably be willing to share it with you. Reach out to those around you and work together. Love one another. Now, I know that this seems kind of simple tonight, but I just wanted to encourage your hearts. Don't lollygag like I did and have to pay more because you were waiting around until the last minute and the price went up. It's going to continue to do that, guys. And I just wanted you to be aware that it happens to the best of us. Okay, I got to go, guys. I got lots to do, and I know that you do too. Until next time, guys, this is Josie. Look well to the ways of your household. I love you. I really do. Till next time, we're gone.